Okay, so first thing I want to point out with this, as far as I can tell, again, none of the lyrics in this song are referencing Luigi Mangione shooting the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, as this was definitely published before released? Published? Published. As this was definitely released before that event all took place. So while some of the lyrics had that event sort of on the front of my mind, let's just push it past us now. So I want to point out now the way that Wells is using this sort of joy in the small things in this song, because Wells is really, really appreciative of literal small things, literal bugs throughout this entire song. And then we get sort of this inadvertent political sort of messaging when we have the lines, "There's a couple of bugs to try and stay away from. Mosquitoes, ticks, business flies, bugs in suits, bugs in ties. And I get bit, and it makes me itch. You won't never complain, 'cause they never really killed me." So I wanted to point out these lines because here's where we get these immediate kind of moments that make us think of political events. And I think that this especially is important because Wells is pointing out all of these different people that maybe working folk might not have the most sort of respect for. And in these moments, I think he's clearly referencing maybe CEOs, maybe Wall Street, maybe just big faraway people that represent this sort of system that does not work for the working class. And I think what Wells is saying in these moments is, don't be annoyed with these people. These are just people. And to a further extent, to really take it to the extreme, I think Wells is even saying, like, really to take it to the extreme, Wells might be even saying, we're seen as bugs from this far off, distant 1%. And then we get a whole list of bugs that I kind of want to point out as well. Granddaddy Longlegs. I think this could be referencing boomers as a generation. One, because Granddaddy Longlegs, I don't know if you know, are like rumored to be one of the most poisonous bugs in the entire world. But not through venom, it's if you eat their legs that you can get this sort of poisoning. And really, I think that this has been debunked. And that's why I'm sort of placing this emphasis on the generation of boomers, because a lot of people have kind of placed them as the enemy, and I just don't really think that that's fair, one. And two, I think that's something that Wells is pointing out here as well, is they might be viewed as quote-unquote poisonous, but really they're not the ones creating harm. We are again brought back to this idea of remember who the real enemy is. And then we see big banana spiders. Those spiders, I had to Google, only attack humans if they are attacked first. I think this is sort of representative of the working class. I think the working class overall is generally just happy to go and do their day's work, but it's really once you start treating them unfairly and start attacking them that they start to attack back. And that can be placed on a whole lot of other groups of people. I'm just using the working class as a general example right now. I think too, Wells is wanting us to really appreciate the small things that kind of come, to appreciate the smaller things, or look at why we're not appreciating the things that we like. So here I want to point out the lines, and I don't know what the mantis is praying for, but he's probably just thanking the Lord that he don't live in a home and he don't got a phone and he don't sit around all angry and bored, he's just a bug. With this sort of metaphor that I'm creating, that these bugs are actually people, I think it's fair to say here that Wells is calling for us to live a simpler life, to have a simpler time, and to build a simpler life despite being viewed as a sort of bug. And so here I want to bring in Susan House, spontaneous, because I believe she's trying to portray the same message that Wells is trying to portray throughout Bug. This song cannot just be called Bug. And Howe's particulars can be the simplicity that Wells is sort of calling for, is recognizing these particulars of life and bringing forward a new sort of way of thinking.